Ready,
Live.
set, go.
My finger's broken. Show it on the news.
We have 0 people watching.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, now it says 40. Okay, I guess it didn't break. I thought it was going to kick us out again.
Uh-oh.
Welcome, Tim. Thanks for joining the show. Or someone. Proxmox.
41 waiting. 0. Well, we're here. Are we ready, Ralph? I don't hear you.
Oh,
Ralph.
man, Ralph. You know, if Ralph doesn't have an audio-visual, problem...
It was working before we even went live, too. That's
know,
the best
right?
part, is he somehow managed to break it in the last 30 seconds.
Nope. There's gators out there chewing on the fiber lines.
I think he's just doing it
that's
for
always a
fun
problem.
now. Ralph, you talking all to your voice. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Ralph. I'm from Florida. Welcome to Talking About the News. I don't have any issues with my audio-visual setup. And Ryan, roll the tape.
We have a
Oh,
late
John's
comer.
joining. Or someone that named themselves John.
Right.
Oh, and Ralph dropped out.
Hey,
And Ralph's coming back.
there's Ralph.
He hit the reboot.
Nope.
There's still no audio, Ralph.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
we hear you.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah. I'm just going to be here for the first half. I've got to bail. Spent all morning teaching, so now I get to do work.
Well, that could
Wait,
work out.
teaching
'cause-
isn't work?
No, not for me. It's an excellent deep fake of John Strand. Yeah, it's not too far off.
Well, you can start the first half, and then maybe by then Ralph will have his audio figured
Poop
out.
in a group. I still don't know. I've got to go in and expand this and see if I can get the show notes for today.
How about now?
Hey, you're
There we
there.
go.
Hey,
Yeah, I said to reboot the whole computer. It's fine. We're good.
It sounds like you're on the wrong mic, though, not going to lie.
Really?
You don't sound like you're whispering in my ear from Florida.
Oh, does it sound too loud or too
Ooh.
low?
Whoa,
It was
now
a little
it's-
low, but I'll take it over what it was.
All right. Well, I'll just put it real close to me. We'll be good.
That's good. Okay, do you need a moment? Who's hosting here, Ralph or John?
You.
Me?
Ralph, why don't you kick it off? Because I have to leave early.
Okay. No problem.
Ready to go? Give you the thumbs up. Blink twice.
Oh, yeah. We're blink twice. Yeah. The code sign. Got it. Cool. We're in.
All right, let's go for it.
Welcome to Black Hills Information Security, talking about the news. I'm your host today, Ralph May. I'm joined by an all-star cast. We've got John is here. We got Ryan. We've got Steve. We've also got Corey. And Mike is on here. Welcome, Mike.
thank you.
yeah.
What about Ben?
Yeah, you've
And Ben,
Forgot
Ben's
Ben.
here.
I'm right in the middle.
In the middle, dude. I literally missed me. But if I was going to miss anyone on purpose, it would totally been Corey, but that's just that's just me being mean. Anyways, we got tons of news to talk about. Supposedly, I'm going to use air quotes here. They caught the Okta hacker in the UK. We've got more Okta. Do you guys want to talk about Okta? We can talk about Okta.
What happened with Okta? I'm sorry.
No, it's nothing that we need to worry about.
Okay.
We have some ransomware. Which, we'll talk to that if we just get really bored. Some Apple and some other fun stuff. So, yeah, good fun-filled day.
So, guys, 16.
I know we're behind. It's classic though. It's always the kid that has that like zero sense of risk, even though he lives in a Five Eyes nation, right?
Yeah.
Zero reason to do anything but hack, right?
Yep.
I mean, he's not like he's missing out on other stuff, and yeah, I mean, just brilliant mind. I mean, I would assume, right? Or just really lucky. I don't know.
Yeah.
He did Bing search for Mimikatz and then download it
Yeah.
directly.
I want to know what his certifications were. Like, I mean, did he
Oh
have
my God.
what certs did he have? We need to know that before
This
we,
is This is the Twitter debate. Like,
Yeah,
talk about
right.
stepping right into it, right?
I know. I
Everyone
bought
on
it, folded
Twitter
in.
was like, this just proves we don't need certifications in security anymore.
Oh,
It's like,
God.
I don't know if that's necessarily the lesson to be learned here, but
That's what you got away with it? You know what? If we could just get rid of certifications, we'd have much better security.
oh
So
yeah,
he-
absolutely.
He bought DocSpin, so he probably had access to the OSCP training materials. That's what I think did it.
Like,
Yeah,
Just kidding.
that was the trick right there.
What's his rank on Try Hack Me?
It's Lab
Yeah.
4.
yes. And our sponsor, Try Hack Me today, has something to say about this new.
That's what I think is hilarious about the 16-year-old doing this is we do have Try Hack Me, right? We've got Hack the Box. We have all these places where you can do this like legitimately.
Yeah.
But I will say it probably doesn't have the rush of hacking into Microsoft or Okta or any of those places.
I mean, you certainly don't get the notoriety. I mean,
I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting for him or her. I think it's a he to show up at DEF CON and then like have someone try to roll up and be like, so what CVEs do you have? What certs do you have? And he's like, I was the Okta kid. And they'll be
I
like,
crashed 10,000 systems. in
1,507
19
systems.
floppy disks in his pocket.
yeah.
But this has been going on for a long time. I mean, we've always had, people that have done amazing things and they didn't have certifications. And honestly, I can't see anyone like bragging. It's like the hacker that actually did this. I just want to say they were SANS GX certified. That was never a conversation. That was never a conversation that we had whenever I was at SANS Institute for good reason, right? Like that's not something we did.
Can we talk about his age for a moment, though? I think that's kind of an important piece to this, right? So I think that the risk doesn't seem as maybe like real at that age.
Oh
right?
no, you're untouchable. You're
yeah.
indestructible.
Yeah, so like it doesn't, and this is not just for like hacking. I mean, it's just saying like an age development thing in general. So I think that comes into play while we may see more wild attacks, right, from 16-year-olds as opposed to someone who's 45 been doing this for 30 years and whatever.
Well, it's like the offspring told us: if you're under 18, you won't be doing any time. Maybe this is the training like the program.
Right? This is his job applications.
Yeah.
This is his job
his scream for somebody, help me out, get a job here.
Do we think like his school used Okta and it just made him really mad? And so he's like, I'm going after
Yeah,
Okta.
they had2-factor, and he was just sick of it. Just
He's like,
Yeah.
this is so annoying.
It'd be so much easier if I just took over the entire company and bypassed it.
Sure. So that kind of brings us. Do we know like exactly how this person got into Okta? Because I've seen different reports, and I know it involves some sort of RDP access. But how did this person get the RDP access in the first place? Anybody know?
I don't
venture a guess.
know yet.
It's been all over the place. Like we've heard that he was able to purchase the access on the dark web and log in.
What kind of piggy bank does this guy have? Is it that cheap? Is it like 35 cents for my?
Yeah, it might be something we need to look into.
No,
Yeah.
they said he had stolen over 300 BTC over his career. I don't know if that's accurate.
So he's been stealing crypto and then he's been using that to up his game so that he whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And CISA, in response, released another list of additional 36 exploits that people should be patching against.
Are we on what cyber DEFCON are we on? -5?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it does kind of bring up another point too about the fact that maybe you're not as untouchable as you think, especially if you're living in one of these countries, right? Like the US or the UK. I mean, if they want you bad enough, right? Like you are not untouchable, right? Like
They'll get you.
They will get I mean, like you think that 300 Bitcoins is, enough to get away, right? I don't know, right? Like
Well, but this gets into like, I've had some requests for some banks in Asia and like doing the deception thing. And they're like, we want you to be able to track this attacker back. And I've asked questions like, well, should we, are you going to work with law enforcement to try to, and they're like, no. We have our own group of people that handle this.
So maybe it's better for the kid, is what you're saying, that he's not in one of these countries.
Yeah, I think it's better that it turned out this way. This turned out for the best because now he's caught. He's under 16. He's going to go through the exact same legal system. He's probably going to get a slap on the wrist. Then he's going to get out, and he's totally going to have an illustrious career and hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers here shortly. I mean, that's just
true.
That's the way that this is going
But
to go.
he'll never be able to. Here's the thing: he'll never be able to do. Right? He's probably not going to serve jail time, or I don't know. He might just have to like stay at home at his mom's for a while. It doesn't matter. But what will happen though is he'll never be able to pull off any more of these cool hacks anymore. While he will get paid a bunch for just being the person he is. Well, that's
it. He's done. He's done. I mean, he's got his story, right?
Yeah,
he's got his story. Whenever you go to Black Hat, and
he's mitnicked. Yeah,
he's got his story, and that's all he needs. And then so WizPro said, and then he will get a movie.
Well, he'll get the Netflix. Netflix is first.
It's already Netflix probably on him, right?
Yeah, Netflix is already at his. Yeah.
They literally news like movie. That'll be good.
Did want to say though that the article from Krebs on Security was updated on March 24, stating that the London police did say that 7 people between the ages of 16 and 21 have been arrested in connection with the investigation in the hacking group, and that all have been released under investigation. So
he's not a
turns out he's probably not alone. Yeah, working with somebody.
Sure.
It's classic, right? Hey, can anyone help me with this? Yeah, here you go. Here's some RDP access. Here's some database, whatever, that kind of stuff. Trading favors, whatever.
Maybe this was a hack off.
Like hack off.
Challenge you to a hack off.
It had to be, I mean, reputation and that kind of thing is. I mean, it's a 16-year-old, right? I guess he stole the Bitcoin. He already had 300 Bitcoin. Why go after Microsoft? Do you think Microsoft has like a sick crypto wallet hidden in there? No. I mean, maybe it was seen as the choke point, but I don't think he had some huge motive about. Oh yeah, we gotta get in through Microsoft. Then we're gonna use that inject Node.js cryptocurrency miners across the board. I don't think.
I seriously think it happened. I think he got in to Okta, and then it was just literally like, well, what do we do from here?
Yeah.
And and this kind of reminds me, we were doing a pen test against a company in New York. I might have talked about it on the show. I know I've talked about it publicly. And as I said, you can't trust anything I say because I change the details like all the time. But we had a pen test against this company in New York City, and they had a customer support portal for their employees. And the team was able to, once you got creds, you were able to upload documents to this portal, and the documents would go directly to a customer service engineer. And what this company didn't tell us is that they used this portal that was completely branded as their company, but they had a third-party like MSP that was running their customer support for them. So we were able, once we got on the system, the analyst opened up the document, we got shell on that system, and we literally had access. I think what the tester told me, we had like hundreds of additional companies that we could directly access through their RMM tool. So you could go into the RMM tool and see a list of all the companies that they could access via Active Directory. And we stopped, of course. Like, we didn't go in and like, hey, we can now rip off source code from Microsoft because prison sucks. But what we did is we stopped right there, and we were able to talk to the customer. They talked to their MSP, and it all turned out really, really well. But my point is, if you've been pen testing long enough, something like this has literally happened to you, where you've gotten access to something that got you access to a whole bunch more, and you kind of take a couple of steps back, and you're like, whoa. And you tend to get a little bit shaky. So that's my theory, is I think that they got access to that Okta thing, and instead of stepping back, it was like, hey guys, who wants the source code to Bing?
Let's go in.
Yeah.
Anyone want the source code? What about Cortana?
I will say that, like, if you read the Krebs article, it does. I mean, obviously, this is all alleged. This is none of this. This is very as it happens. But there were lots of posts and solicitations of like, does anyone work at this company? I need you to do this for $20,000. No, don't worry about it. Like, kind of more organization orchestration than you'd expect. But that's where I think other people come in, where you have kind of these orchestrators that may not have the hacking talent, but can do things like take a pile of Bitcoins and try to get people to SIM swap for those Bitcoins, or trying to get people to give developer access or whatever they're doing. It's obviously being attributed as like a real threat group, but it's probably just people hanging out and screwing around.
Yeah. Almost like LUTSAC or any of those groups. It's like Anonymous. Anonymous is. But I think that we got some stories on Anonymous a bit later.
Yeah, we do have
That's
a
attacking. Like Anonymous is weird because anybody can call themselves anonymous, right? This actually seems like it was a crew, like a literal crew that was going out and doing this. This was them instead of playing video games, they'd go and break into Fortune 10.
Yeah,
Memories.
Memories.
So, yeah, someone make like a retrospective, in the arms of the angel. This threat group is sadly.
This threat group is probably in its current form, probably burned, right? Like, I mean, all the threats here, right?
Downloading Mimikatz from searching it on Bing that's burned. We can't do that anymore.
No, but being on the radar means that anything you do now is suspect to all investigations.
Well, I mean, they're arrested.
You can emulate
hackers, right? It's just like the movie Hackers.
They're arrested, dude. He's not gonna be able to touch a computer until he's 18.
18,
change the traffic, which is like just a few months away.
Think how easy it is to do adversary emulation now with the Lapsus group, right?
Yeah.
So we got access via RDP. We searched Bing for Mimikatz.
Okay. So Steve, I've got to ask, when you see that, like some of the problems that we've been running into on some of our customer networks, like I think of Mike Felch and kind of what he dealt with that one customer. Mm-hmm. And then you hear that and you're like, oh, I feel pretty good about the problems that we have,
right?
It's like,
how could they get access to these cyber weapons? Sir, they were on GitHub. They're public tools.
And we wrote some of them.
But what about our cyber weapons embargo?
It's right up there with that crypto embargo.
So yeah, speaking of Anonymous, I guess they have what is it? More Ukraine, Russia, right? So Anonymous has been going after Russia, and they've been hacking away, literally. And I believe that there was a new database that they got into and dumped. It was it?
There's a couple. There's the Roast Protec, and then there was also the Central Bank of Russia.
Yeah, the Central Bank of Russia. Yeah.
So there's both of those.
They've been really tearing up Russia, right? And I thought Russia had the best hackers in the world. They were.
They're good.
Hacking does not equal defending, right?
I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Can we say it again?
They don't use Log4j. That's how they're secure.
Or struts. They don't have struts either. Yeah. But so this gets into something I've wondered. Does anybody even care anymore? Like seriously, we're at the point if Anonymous dumped something, it seems like no one reads it, or it's like a couple of bullet points in a larger story. Like the actual data seems like no one's going through that data. It's like 32 gigs of data from the Central Bank of Russia, and then for this other group, I think it was like.
It says 1.2 terabytes, but there's 2.4 gigs. It's leaked emails though, which are always they get pretty spicy. I mean, I don't know, they can.
I don't know, they can be, but does anybody go through it? Because you never hear a follow-on story really where they're like, "Oh, look what they discovered." Panama Papers, Jonathan King.
Yeah, it depends on who it is.
That led to something.
Depends on who the emails are. If the emails are like Putin@rus.gov, I think. If the emails are like some lady complaining about her salad to HR or whatever, yeah, you're right. But I mean, it's definitely, I think it's up to journalists or other people that are in that space to dig through it and find the juicy bits. But 1.2 terabytes of email compresses a lot. So that's a lot of email. That's, someone get GPL3 on that or something.
Yeah, but like I said, actually sitting down, if you're a reporter and going through that, that's not an inconsequential amount of time. And if you're a reporter going through that, seriously, you've got to look at what can I do a story on that I know I can get out quick, or I'm going to spend the next 2 months going through these emails. And then even if you find something, a lot of times whenever you get access to like once you get access to like a corporate email and you start going through stuff, it's so horribly complicated. Like all these people are working on different things. It's not like this email that's going to be a smoking gun that's telling you exactly what's going on. Like email subject Putin, Anna Kournikova.
Yeah, I mean you're right. I think it's more just it hurt. It's just like exactly like Russia did to try to destabilize the 2016 election. It's like, here's some emails. it makes you look bad. It makes, people are digging through your dirty laundry. Does it have like real geopolitical ramifications? No, but it's anonymous, right? They're just trying to make them look bad. And it does make them look bad when they're like, hey, we got all kinds of stuff and we're still being successful. It makes it look like anonymous can beat Russia cybercrime wise or cyber warfare wise.
Even if it's next to nothing of any value, right? Because anonymous clearly isn't going through it. So my favorite anonymous story in Russia is the Macron campaign in France was told that Russia was coming after them. Hot nation state action coming at them.
Oh, sexy.
And they were asked, like, what do we do? And seriously, if somebody were to call me up and like, we're going to be attacked by a nation state like Israel, the NSA, and they're like, what do we do about that? I think, you could say, well, what we need to do is two-factor authentication and stuff. No, nation state attackers are operating at a much higher level. So what they did, they were basically told, you're going to get hacked. So what happens if you're a company and you know for certain that you're going to get compromised? What do you do? So what they did is they actually created a whole bunch of fake documents and they seeded it through their email all over the place. And when Russia finally did hack them and it was dumped on WikiLeaks, almost immediately the Macron campaign said point blank, hey, some of that data out there is completely faked and it's garbage. And WikiLeaks was like, how could you respond so quickly that this data is fake? That's because Macron's campaign intentionally put fake garbage in that email, in their email, because they knew the Russians were coming. And the story died almost immediately. Now, the thing I love about this, not necessarily honeydocs, Corvus, but basically disinformation. Like they poisoned the well, as Jonathan King just pointed out very accurately. So if you're a reporter, and this is important, then you could do this in your own organization, like right now. If you are a organization, start seeding fake docs absolutely everywhere. Like admit the dumbest things ever. It's like this company was behind the killing of JFK, and just let that document flow everywhere. And what happens is if you do get hit by a breach and Anonymous says that they breached this, you just be like, hey, we put a bunch of garbage documents out there. That poison well analogy works because, or fruits of a poisonous tree is another thing. No reporter is going to spend any time going through that if they know that it has been intentionally like modified in some way, knowing that there is going to be a breach. They're just not going to look at it because now the company has this amazing cloak of plausible deniability for literally anything. So it's like Bank of America, did you intentionally target your users and your home loans and jacked up your mortgage rates? No, but look at these fake documents. Like, okay, well,
it's like, we actually made a war game simulation where we did do that as a demonstration of what we shouldn't do for our ethics committee.
So this also brings up another article that came up recently, and this was about Google, and they were doing something similar. They were not exactly similar, but anyways, they were adding they were adding CCing their lawyers to these emails so that it would go under attorney-client privilege, and so that way the government couldn't read them, right? And they would say, "Oh, you can't read these emails. They are covered under attorney-client privilege," and they would add it to just every email, just like all emails would just. They had like a whole thing where they were like, any email to this, you had just add it, and then CC the lawyer who's not looking at any of them. It's just just
automatically has a filter.
I think it's mostly just a schoolyard brawl. It's totally like, we can make you look bad. It's not like no one is going to court based on leaked emails. No one, you know what I mean? So yeah, it is. I think it's just a public. It's just a way for Anonymous to shoot, pot shots at Russia's perception and.
And it's what they got, like if they'd got something else, they would have dumped something else. But whatever they get, they're going to dump because they got it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Who's going to jail over that? Like if somebody in Ukraine is hacking or somebody from Anonymous is hacking from Russia, like is
from
Russia
the U.S.,
press charges?
They're going to jail.
No, I mean from wherever, because what's Russia going to do? Press charges, do indictments and things like that? Or are other countries going to uphold those indictments?
They're going to
if you've been tracking, like in the peace talks, like 3 people got poisoned in the freaking peace talks.
Right.
The KGB agent probably just slipped, like he slipped when he was pouring. He's like, "Oh shit! Oh god, it's everywhere! I gotta serve this
everywhere.
It's Russia. Like, you do not, like, for me, I think it's kind of gutsy that Anonymous is doing all of this stuff because they're very well known for poisoning the hell out of people. It's like that's scary. Even at a freaking peace summit, they're like, "Oh, we think it was just a warning." Their skin is peeling off.
Yeah, it must have been the fish.
I don't think hackers typically commit suicide by bullet wound to the back of the head, but
multiple times.
Russia attacking, and obviously this shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, but there is being attacks on the Ukrainian internet, which I'm still surprised is up at this point.
Right.
Like just cables are still working.
I think
right?
it's just
Well,
Starlink.
we found out that that's how Russian military is communicating. They need those lines up and running.
Yeah.
So I guess there have been some attacks on the Ukrainian internet provider, and I'm not even talking physical. I'm talking, logical attacks.
They're
right?
still doing cyber attacks.
Yes, they're still doing cyber attacks, right? And I guess also the bombs are kind of hurting some stuff too. Uptime is definitely not as high as it used to be.
No, it's not. But then we have Starlink. I do wonder with Russia breaking into Ukrainian like servers and stuff. They're like, great, what do we find? We found more videos of farmers stealing our tanks with tractors. Okay, what else other than that? We found a couple of videos of small children learning how to drive our tanks. Okay, what else? Well, there was some videos of a bunch of our soldiers surrendering.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to pump the brakes on this just a hair.
Well, so I think it actually kind of makes sense for them to want to take it down because that's where all this stuff is coming from. The evidence of their war crimes, the evidence of like the funny memes of people stealing their tanks, they're surrendering, like, all that stuff is leaking out of Ukraine and making Russia look bad in the public eye. So of course they're going to be like, shut it down. But I would like to say there was a news article last week that Ralph totally called that they are using Starlink for drone targeting. Like they're actually doing exactly what Ralph said. Like they're actually using Starlink as like the infrastructure for drone strikes. So this is the world we live in now.
Yeah. It's like the last thing they
So
take
how
down
effective has the cyber campaign been then by the Russians against the Ukrainians? Because before the war, that kind of seemed to be all that we heard about was, hey, this cyber attacks are going to happen. They're going to hit the energy grids. They're going to, starve people with, mass power outages and things like that. But how much of that have we actually seen in this engagement, and how effective is the cyber war compared to the actual kinetic war?
Same level of effectiveness.
Yeah, it's not effective. They can't stop
not at all.
Well, but we talked about this, and this is my theory, right? Like my theory is anybody that's doing cyber in Russia right now is focused on Russia and disinformation in Russia and locking down information in Russia and finding people that are spreading information about the war in Russia. So Vladimir Putin's biggest concern isn't hacking the power grid someplace. It's right now trying to keep a lid of information in his own country. So that's my theory on that. But I need to go, y'all. I want to say thanks. Everyone stay. I'm leaving. Everyone else is staying here and talking about stuff. So I will.
We will go on without you, John.
We'll go on.
Play a sad song. We
Oh,
replaced John with Noah.
Yeah,
Noah.
We got Noah in
Hello,
replacement.
Noah.
Like
Whoa,
a pitch.
was your room always blue?
No. This is a
Lord-
long story, but more or less, I
He's a
was.
Zillow hacker.
Is this
Isn't
what
it
blue
Lord
teamers look
Monopixel
like?
now? I thought we had lordshipped you.
Yeah, I was like
Lord
Lord
Mono.
something, and then John added the third to it. I don't know why. I mean, my father and grandfather were also Lord Monopixel, I guess.
Is it just so you can know that you're on the blue team? Like, is that
Yeah,
the point?
I
So you're
painted
like,
my
what
walls
team am I
all
on?
blue
Okay.
just so I could prove I'm on the blue team. No, since we brought such attention to it, I'll just give the brief description.
This is news.
This is psychological warfare on selling houses. This was like the former bedroom. However, the bathroom is behind me. And this was a former one-bedroom house. So people were telling me they didn't like walking through the bedroom to go to the bathroom. So I turned the bedroom into an office, and I haven't got a complaint about it since. I got like 4 offers like 2 weeks later.
Nice.
He is a Zillow hacker.
That's what a lord would do. Just
Yeah.
reconfigure the kingdom into his liking.
So I'll be writing a blog on how to hack your home sales. That'll be coming up in the future.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought you were a blue teamer. Wow, going red over here.
I dabble. We'll see.
I dabble.
Yeah, so Ukraine's been getting attacked, but it seems like the network attacks aren't really changing much. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
No,
just,
I heard that they were down for a bit today, but they've mitigated it and gotten back up recently. So
yeah.
I feel like artillery strike to the data center is probably more risky than DDoS at this point. Just to guess.
That's why they built all their data centers underground in bunkers, World War II bunkers.
Did they really?
No, I don't know that. I just made that up.
I mean, I believe that.
Say,
Voice.
some of those Ukrainian subway tunnels are the
Somebody
deepest
fact check
that,
Ralph.
like, exist.
Darn it.
But so if you put them down there, it'd be great.
I just fact checked Ralph using no information. He's wrong.
I didn't look up anything. He's totally wrong.
I
Pants
did a
on fire.
precursor search on Wikipedia, and it says no.
Here.
It just says Ralph's an idiot here on the Googles. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting search. Interesting search. Always ends up with Ralph's an idiot. It's like one of those flow charts, right?
Hey,
Go ahead.
I guess moving forward, did we have any ransomware to talk about?
Oh, we got some ransomware. Hey,
Oh,
you know what? I
come
really like
on.
this article.
Can't we go 1 week?
I know. Hold on.
It's
This is
obligatory now. I mean, you got to do it, right?
I have a change of pace, guys. Listen.
You know
So
what?
66 months.
We really need a different type of ransomware where we actually get
somebody
someone
got
who
arrested.
steals-
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
steals
no,
the
no,
keys
it's-
to software, and
Wait,
then
wait,
won't
Noah
let
has
you
a-
like you can't sell your Adobe. You can't like get Adobe keys because we've ransomed the key software. So we've
Okay,
literally ransomed your wares. That needs.
Well,
to be a
how
new-
about you
new
roll
type.
their curb TGT twice, right? And then
There
lock
you
them
go.
out of Active Directory and say, hey, I've got your domain under control, right?
Only
brand new? We're giving people great ideas on brand new types of
this is a
ransomware.
Oh, yeah.
The lawyers are entering the chat like stop.
Stop.
We have lawyers.
When we need to.
No.
So
Not our lawyers.
I know, not ours. So what is it? Somebody did get arrested for doing ransomware, which is actually news, right? That never happens. And they got 66 months in prison for online fraud. What I thought was interesting about this is that obviously U.S. Secret Service was involved. They're not in the U.S. because if that was the case, they would have just got them yesterday, or went to their house like the day it happened. But they had to extradite them back to the U.S. For conspiracy to commit wire fraud.
37-year-old. We got some time left in us, guys. We can do it. Yep. Just because we're not 16 and hacking Okta doesn't mean we can't be 37 and getting 66 months in prison for ransomware.
Where was he from?
He's from Estonia, but he got picked up in Latvia in November of 2020. Yeah. So, and that's the thing, like I was talking about, like
Estonia is pretty close to Russia, right? Is it right?
They still extradited during
COVID. Yeah, right. He wore a mask. He's good.
Oh, okay.
How when you get caught, they go into the non-extraditious country and they're already on a watch, or on an extradition country, they're already on a watch list. And as soon as they hit the ground,
as you hit the ground, you go to try to leave again. Yeah.
The most surprising thing to me is Estonia isn't extradition, but Latvia is. That's like never saw that coming.
Well, I mean, it's literally right next door. By the way, for a little geography lesson here.
He used the money made from cybercrime to buy 2 Porsches. It doesn't say what Porsche, so we don't know if he has good taste or bad taste.
This would be.
It could be an SUV, or it could be an actually cool one. Ducati motorcycle, along with jewelry.
And jewelry.
Yeah.
1.7 million in Bitcoin.
That's not very much. This guy was not very good.
No, not at all.
Rookie.
So the real takeaway from this is if you're going to run ransomware, at least do it right, or you deserve to get picked up. Is that what you're saying, Corey?
Basically, I'm saying when you do use your spoils, you don't buy jewelry. I mean, come on, you got to do better than that. Also, he had 17 million in or 1.7 million in Bitcoin. He has 36 million in restitution. So if he just leaves it invested for those 66 months,
oh, he'll be good
when he gets out. No,
come out ahead.
Corey's new get rich quick scheme.
I will say 66 months. How do we feel about that sentence length? Because that
not enough. But
what is that? Is that like math wise? What is that?
5.5 years.
But with good behavior, he probably makes really good food in prison. He gets out. The guards. He's nice to the guards.
I mean, typically fraud cases don't end up with like lots of prison time. It's usually like, small amounts of prison time with restitution and all the other fun stuff. I mean, like, what did Madoff get, right? Like,
a lot longer than 66 months.
Yeah, well, I mean, he probably stole a lot more, right? I mean, I don't know. Not to bring up old stuff, but
true.
Well, if it was a plea deal or not, because usually in fraud cases it's a plea deal.
Yeah, and considering that he did go ahead and plead guilty, it's probably some deal in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Conspiracy to commit wire fraud, classic.
Classic. But I do think it's interesting, though. It's obviously all these Russian adjacent countries. I mean, like the ransomware, it's like a region. Like it's like France, how you have the Champagne region. This is the ransomware region of the world, right?
It's not real ransomware unless it's from Eastern Europe. Otherwise, it's just ransom.
Unless it's just ransom. It's just
you can't call it. You can call it bubbly, but you can't call it champagne.
Yes, yeah. They're gonna honestly. They're probably going to trademark the name now after that. So, real ransom, but real ransomware. Excuse me.
It is interesting. The Secret Service is the ones going after it. What is there like? Is no one counterfeiting money anymore? Why do they get tasked with this? It's kind of weird.
I think that's falls under their jurisdiction. I don't know.
Maybe it's like they said Bitcoin, and then only the Secret Service even knew what that was. They were like, "All right, you guys take that.
You guys take it.
FBI's like, what?
What I think is interesting though is that like a lot of these attackers, right? And this attacker in this case, they thought they were good, right? But obviously the Secret Service was working on a case probably for years, right, to make this arrest. Right. They thought that
they're just waiting. Yeah, they're just waiting.
They're just waiting. They're waiting for the right time. So yeah. Anyways, so that was the same with the LinkedIn hacker too. Got him. Prague. Nailed him. Like
Pragued.
Prague.
Yeah, don't go to Prague. Russians love to go to Prague for vacation. It's actually very nice. I'd recommend anyone who wants to go to a fun vacation.
So yeah, I mean, it is worth noting that the U.S. obviously is not just the world police. 7 of the 13 ransomware attacks targeted American businesses, costing over $53 million in losses. So he definitely made some pain.
Wait, the U.S. is not the world police.
I mean. In this case, I guess we had 7 out of 13 reasons to be the world police.
I mean, arguably, we didn't actually go pick him up. We just asked for cooperation. So
it's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if it's an extradition, we just said, "Hey, we have a reason to extradite," and they said, "Yeah, here you can have him."
Yeah. No, that's
a simplified version of how extradition works.
Yeah, but no, they had to arrest him, agree to all that, and then do it right. So, but what else? Oh, and sad news, ransomware. The Greece's National Postal Service is restoring their systems from ransomware attack, probably from the ransomware district of Europe. Just a guess on that. I have nothing to back that up. But yeah, I guess they got attacked and lots of systems down. Yeah. Fun stuff. So ransomware hasn't calmed down. I thought with the war it was going to really calm down, but it's really not. So they said they used an HTTPS reverse shell technique.
Wait, I know a guy named Reverse Shell.
I had almost nothing to do with Greece's ransomware.
Mm-hmm.
That's what someone who was guilty would say too.
Yeah, we don't have any attribution for this, at least not that I see.
Yeah, so hard time sending mail right now, but I guess they're recovering. I'm hoping from the word backup, but it doesn't say anything about that in the article.
I feel like there's like an email joke just hanging out there somewhere.
Yeah, if you can email me my new laptop, please.
Yeah,
do that.
If you can figure out how that works, man. Amazon.
All we need is matter replicators from Star Trek. It'll be fine.
I look forward to that day eagerly.
So yeah, ransomware.
So anyways, if you live in Greece, the Postal Service is hiring.
Yeah.
Security
if you
people.
Live in Greece, you're interested in security
architects, disaster response, blue teamers.
Also, if you're trying to sell backup solutions, they probably don't like theirs now.
Yeah,
it's that they really like it. Either way,
either they're in for life or they're out. Right?
Yeah. After this, they're like, "Nah, we need something easier. That was terrible."
Maybe they just backed everything up on paper documents.
Yeah. You know,
and then
the
they
worst part is-
no, that's how they back up the branch offices. Is they print it off on paper documents and then mail it out via the postal service.
you know the worst part is they're finding out right now whether their backups work.
Right.
Like, this is the time. They're like, all right, let's see. What do we got here?
I will say they didn't pay the ransom, so they have backups.
Yeah, that's true.
Or they don't need whatever's wasn't backed up.
Yeah.
I do think that that like Ralph was saying, every time they get hit with ransomware, that's when they test their backups. I always want to say something like roll for initiative. It's about the chance that your backups will work if you haven't tested them.
Yes. By the way, that's rule number 1 for backups. Test your backups just to make sure that they're doing what you think they're supposed to be doing. In case you.
So the FCC is invading the cyber world further. They put Kaspersky on the security threat list.
Haven't they always been on the security threat list? Like,
yeah, but not for the FCC, dude.
Wasn't allowed for government like contractors and government suppliers, but I don't know that it was on the like unacceptable risk list for the.
It might as well be like a marketing list, honestly. You got what is the people that made Pegasus called again? We've talked about them they're on the list. Now Kaspersky's on the list. Huawei's on the list. Basically, if you're looking for some fun.
If you'd like to get off the list, please send the FCC $2 million and, not as just a donation,
China Mobile and China Telecom also got added.
Yeah, Kaspersky could be persuaded to spy on you, so this is the reason why they're on that list.
It basically says our national security agencies agreed with my assessment that China Mobile, China Telecom, and Kaspersky appeared to meet the threshold necessary to add them to our list.
Mm-hmm. They're from the ransomware district of Europe.
It will help secure. It will help secure our networks. No, this actually isn't the ransomware district. This is the spy district of Asia.
Yeah.
Is that an actual physical mailing address? Ransomware district.
Only if it's going through the Greek mail system.
Russian state-backed entities seeking to engage
honestly,
in
that's a shirt that I want, like ransomware district. Oh my gosh. So I guess no surprise here, but do what you will, but I wouldn't probably use Kaspersky.
We talked about these lists before when that threat group got added to it, and it's mostly just like it doesn't have any real it's like a trade thing. It's like an economic thing. It's not I don't think any consumers are like, oh, dude, I was gonna get Kaspersky, but now that it's on this list, no, they're like on Amazon.
40% off right now. Like Amazon have a coupon.
Did they probably have like a thing on Amazon? Like it's like Amazon's Choice. It says like FCC ban that like.
So I mean, the thing with this is though, when the FCC puts you on a list like this, it's because they think that particular company could be persuaded by that foreign government to share the information that they take from you with other people, specifically that could benefit that other government. But yet that's everywhere. I mean, if you think that there's U.S. companies that couldn't be persuaded by U.S. government to share data with stuff to benefit U.S. government, but the thing is, FCC is there. It's in the U.S. It is the U.S. government. So it doesn't really entirely matter. It just is. It's a political agenda at best. If you're not, it depends on your threat model is what I'm trying to say, I guess. If you're really worried about your data winding up in the hands of the Russian government, probably shouldn't use Kaspersky. If you are really worried about it ending up in China, there's a whole list of people you shouldn't. But at the same point, you're sharing your data with someone somewhere. Know who you're sharing your data with. That's the main takeaway.
I think the big thing is that the federal government doesn't want turning your computer into another, piece to make an attack on U.S. assets, right? So it's like, you're like, well, obviously I'm sharing my data with everybody. Who do you want to share it with? And obviously the U.S. federal government doesn't really want you to turn your computer into another sensor for the
Russians. They don't want you sharing it with their enemies, their political adversaries. Yeah,
exactly. So, and obviously we don't know for sure that that's that they're absolutely doing that. What they are saying though is that obviously they are under the control of Putin and the regime there, and that if they want to, they can make them do whatever they want. Right?
So okay, new plan. Are you
Or
guys
poison them,
ready?
poison them, that's how you do
Okay,
it.
here's what we do. We get a Huawei phone on China Telecom. We install Kaspersky, then we just send it complete junk. Just like like John said, we got to poison the well. Just upload thousands of documents that are just like, I had waffles for breakfast today.
That and
from Obama.
Sprinkle in a few
top secret helicopter plans.
Some really poorly designed tank plans, so that they try to build them and then just wait. It turns out to be a pile of metal. One track is bigger than the other track or something.
We could definitely recruit 4chan. We could be like, how do you guys make household cleaners? Just combine bleach and ammonia at home. There's just like all the leaked plans for the new attack helicopter.
So everyone get your tic-tac-toe board out and or your bingo board, whatever. We've already talked about Russia, we've talked about China, but player 3 is going to enter the chat. North Korea is unleashed a
they're
Chrome
still relevant.
They're still relevant, obviously. They released a Chrome 0-day exploit on hundreds of US targets, because I think they just felt like no one cared about them, and they just wanted to be like, we are still relevant. Right?
Russia's stealing all the limelight.
Yeah, they're stealing all the limelight. But
they've been shooting missiles into the ocean for weeks, just trying to get someone to notice them. They're like, guys, I have missiles. I'm over here.
We have missiles. We have 0 days.
Fine, we'll burn a 0 day. Fine.
Yeah.
We got to get what? I mean, it was a Chrome 0 day, right? And Google fixed it. So make sure your browsers
it was a
are
couple.
up to date.
It was like a whole chain. But anyways, yeah. A critical 0 day in Chrome or Brave. If you have either of those browsers, just update.
They auto update. Don't stop them from auto updating.
Yeah, just try again. Make sure it's updated.
But that would require me to close all of my tabs.
Only if you're an incognito, because if you're not an incognito, it'll reopen all of them when you reopen the browser.
Yeah, but I don't trust that.
And even if what? Dude, you have
who doesn't operate only in incognito mode?
Do you keep like all the boxes from phones you've owned over like the past 10 years? Are you that like you can get rid of those? Just let them go.
Collecting them, I'm going to sell them in like a box set.
I still have the box for my Wii.
If you found it once, you can find it again. Dude, that tab isn't like a one-way system.
Anyways, this is a pretty sophisticated attack. There was more than one 0 day out here. Google researchers actually are the ones who just saw it in the wild and made a patch for it, and so on and so forth, right? So I guess browser exploits are still a thing, and obviously chaining these together, definitely high level of sophistication, and they were using it on specific targets as opposed to just like ransomware, I guess.
Yeah, the targeting of people looking for jobs is kind of interesting too. Like playing into like the Great Resignation and be like dream job here and spinning up a bunch of domains and fake job listings and stuff.
How did it only target 250 people? Man, this thing didn't have long legs.
Well, because it's not like they sent a mass email out.
Well,
that's definitely how you get
didn't
burned.
say
it's a watering hole.
It said it said targets, so that could be like companies, entities, groups of people, whatever.
It says 250 people working for 10 companies.
Yeah, multi-stage and multi-OS too. So that's
it was the first. So supposedly, according to this article on Ars Technica, it was the first Mac OS or first malicious app written for Mac OS from an APT group. So So
I feel like the North Korean red team feels like me on a red team. I spend all this time setting stuff up and then it gets burned like day 2.
Yes.
That's how they feel right now. They're like, dude, we did a watering hole attack. We had Mac OS malware and they just patched the bug. Ugh. Back to the drawing board. At least we get to eat rice for the next 2 months.
It's that or they're like, man, they fell for that one. Good. Now they won't see the one we're doing over on stage left.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
No, they want people to see.
Get them distracted. Let's launch another one. Oh man,
yeah, I think we're gonna see more of these browser exploits as time goes on. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a reason why Google pays some of the top security researchers like Tavis and all those guys just to look for Chrome 0 days in the wild and just to patch them and all that stuff. So,
well, it's like the primary interface anymore. I mean,
lots of fun stuff, but
browsers keep them up to date. Don't even your tabs are nothing after cybersecurity.
To Jathan's comment there, was it a Chromium? Like all
So
Chromium
yeah,
browsers
Chromium would
affected?
be affected. Chrome would be affected. What do you call it?
Like
Brave would be affected.
Yeah, so it was all Chromium browsers.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Edge is affected because I know Edge is part of Chromium, right?
True.
Well,
It was.
So there is a
It was.
statement in here that says the researchers also found evidence that the kit contained components that could also exploit Safari for Mac OS and Firefox for all supported operating systems.
So they were
So-
targeted, but there was no 0-day that was patched. So who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the scariest part of this all, is that we've had all this time where Windows has been a huge attack vector simply just because it's Windows, and that was like it just became adopted mostly due to like Office products. But now we're looking at the fact that most of the major browsers are Chrome based or Chromium based, and we're going to have a much smaller subset. Like everyone's using the same interface when it boils down to it. You can hit a much wider swath than even with Windows as far as user share.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of goes right into the other article that we have, and that's about the Chinese gimmick malware targeting Mac OS users, and kind of its deployment method and stuff. But in general, the bigger scheme here is that nation states or other attackers are moving into targeting Mac OS, and because is it the lion's share of people on the internet? No, but it's definitely another vector, and they're building out kind of a whole deployment for these, and Mac isn't any more secure than Windows. I said it. Sorry.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Dude, also, I mean, if we're going to go down
no.
that rabbit hole, at least in my personal testing, the EDR and XDR and logging and all that stuff is way less built out on alternate platforms because it's not as much of a target. So, like, every single Windows kernel event isn't indexed into CrowdStrike and properly alerted upon in Mac. So, but a lot of them have more secure by default. There's like in Mac, there's like a lot of file permission stuff and other, mitigating, but obviously, it's a Wild West, right? So it's a little bit less established and potentially more vulnerable, but
yeah, I'm not sure if we'll see more attacks on Mac OS as the usage goes up, or is it just kind of like spreading it out? But I mean, listen, if more people start, living on Mac OS, there's gonna be more malware.
Yeah. I think the other big thing is there's no default AV EDR. Like there's no defender on either of those platforms. Like Clam AV is not going to stop you.
Yes, Mac OS is perfect, and that's why you don't need AV. It's more secure by design because Apple. None of this is true, guys. So, but yeah, it is a different platform. It just hasn't been eaten up by attackers and writing malware and stuff. And for rightfully so, right? I mean, most of the enterprises or corporations are running Windows, so I mean that's why you would write your malware for Windows, right? Or whatever it may be. But yeah.
The watering hole attack thing is also interesting. If you're hunting for a job or just generally browsing the internet and there's something that seems really amazing, but you can download a file or run a thing, like maybe don't. Like if your dream job requires you to download and run a file, might not be your dream job.
Please install our application software to apply for this role.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's sketchy when it's browser stuff, right? Because it says like we'd like to access your microphone or whatever. You're like, well, I'm about to do this job interview, so yeah.
I mean, I need this. Oh man. So yeah, there's that. Did you guys hear about the Honda Civics? They're vulnerable to a remote unlock and start attack.
They're attacking again.
I love car hacking. Hacking. It's my two favorite things combined into one.
It still can't be ever as good as that story about the Mazdas that got taken down by the local radio station.
Oh well, that was just that was different because that was just the it was like a brick. This is like a remote unlock.
Yeah, so for any model between 2016 and 2020, there is a remote unlock. I believe it can start the car as well. I'm not exactly sure
So
about,
right there, it's unencrypted RF signal for each door open. So it's a replay attack, right?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
How is this a thing in 2022?
Because they're not using a randomization code on it.
Yeah, no.
How are you not like? It's 2022. Come on.
I think
They
the worst
ran out of-
part
Do you
about
know
it.
how expensive that randomizer module would be?
What an
Honestly-
if else statement.
I think the worst thing about
like
it
a
is that
555
Honda is saying
timer
that
chip
they're
or
not going to
something.
fix it either.
Yeah.
Honda's
No,
come back and said, "We're not fixing it. You guys are left on your own."
So wrap your car in foil and hope for the best. Like,
No, that
I mean,
would,
I will
that would
say
only
it-
amplify the signal, Corey. That would
it will
just
be
make it work
very
further away.
It'll be very interesting to see if this actually gets exploited in the wild. Like, I mean, back in the day, like 90s Honda Civics were like the easiest cars in the world to steal. So like, it's kind of ironic that like now after all, like, put your keys. Oh yeah. So, yeah, that's a classic.
Faraday bag pouch.
So yeah, like basically, and this, to be fair to Honda and other people, this same attack works with almost any manufacturer just because of the nature of like we saw it happen with BMW where they stole Tom Cruise's M5 or whatever.
To be fair, do you really expect like ultra high security devices in your pocket running on a watch battery? Let's be honest here. I mean,
they should. Yes.
I mean,
more secure than this, sure, but like super highly secure. No, you can always kick those randomization.
Can you still use the key, like the physical key for that any of those cars, or is it all
probably push button start for most? Yeah.
Well, sure, push button start, but I mean to get into the vehicle,
like to open the door itself.
To open the door, could you still?
Yeah, you can. With most cars, usually the key is like embedded inside the fob, and you can pull it out. And there's like an emergency only on the driver's door, only used if your battery's dead. But basically,
in case of replay attack, use this key.
Well, no. So the problem is the replay attack will still work, dude.
Right, that's like the Faraday pouch. They're like put it in a bag. Well, you have to take it out of the bag to push the button to unlock the door. So
yeah, but that's better.
That's what I'm saying. Can you get around? Can you get around that actual pressing of the button by using the key to get in to where the signal isn't sent? Right.
But it will set off your car alarm if you use the button to push it to like lock it. Usually.
Yeah, I mean, basically, consider where you leave your keys. I think is the biggest thing. Like, don't leave your keys like 4 feet from your car if you park
by the front door or garage door or wherever. Yeah,
or get like a little ammo can or something that blocks RF signals. What I don't know, and I'm not sure if anyone knows this, can it be replayed like more than once?
Yeah, I think it's the vulnerability. Don't have a rolling key. That's what it says. Like,
so it's okay. So it's not like it's even worse than like. Okay, so it's much worse.
So is this like the Tesla attack where you can like say walk up to the front door with one of those big dishes, right? And
no,
then
it
makes
so much worse.
Or is it?
That's a relay. That's a relay attack.
It's so much worse.
Replay where you copy the signal and then repeat it.
Here's the vector. By the way, this is not to be taken literally. This is a joke. But here's what you do. You go to a convention center or like a mall or something. You just walk around, grab a bunch of codes, and then just go out in the parking lot. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like,
so
replay.
The Flipper Zero started shipping. So there have been a lot of people that have been playing around with like these radio frequency cloning and emulation stuff. And there have been a lot of people in the Discord talking about their cars do have rolling codes, right? So they intercept one, replay it, it works to unlock their car, but then it desyncs the crypto between their key and the car, and they have to go to get the dealer and get the key like resynced back up with their car. So that's happened. That's been happening a lot.
Man. So I guess
but with enough analysis, there's a lot of write-ups on how you can even get the rolling code and know what the next rolling code will be and all that.
The unlock is also especially bad because now if you have one of these cars and you park it in a city, do not leave anything of any value in your car at any time.
I mean, this is just bad security. That's that's the Flipper Zero that's out now. This thing has been in the works for a while, but it's kind of a Swiss Army knife of RFI or radio protocols. There's a bunch of stuff in it, right? So
you should know better, Honda. Every car company should be doing regular pen tests.
Yeah. What was it? The Tesla was the Bluetooth. So you're relaying the Bluetooth signal. Yeah. If you get that close enough to the car, it's just going to open. So convenience versus security, right? I think Tesla added the PIN code. So even when you have the Bluetooth, you have to add a PIN code, but whatever.
How many people actually do that?
Right.
I do.
Okay. So one.
Now I got to get
The thing
Ralph.
is, we're saying, you know, Honda, you should really do pen testing, and this is terrible, and I don't like it. It's not great, but at the same point, like this group of people here cares more about it than probably most of the Honda Civic user base, honestly.
Yeah, but when your car disappears, you're going to be really caring about
when
it.
that happens, you're going to care about it. But that's why Honda's not like, yeah, we're going to fix this for you, because
it's a cost benefit thing.
If they
How
even
many
know
cars...
that it's vulnerable to this, they don't care.
I mean, dude, yeah, think of it like this. For Honda, it's cheaper for them to just give everyone that gets their car stolen a free new Honda Civic than it is to like actually go and patch this.
Yeah, to go fix all the Honda Civics.
Like the 10 really enterprising hackers that bought a flipper. And obviously cars are also, the unlock is a little bit sketchy because, you know, you can just get stuff stolen out of your car. Like people are probably going to be like, why does my stuff keep disappearing from my car, but it's locked when I get back? And it's locked. Like, I don't understand. There's no broken window. There's no nothing. But no, I mean, ultimately cars are really hard in general because of all the traditional things like titles, VIN numbers, all that stuff. Cars aren't like a great target to steal, especially when it's a Honda Civic, not like a Bugatti. So like probably going to be mostly used to steal people's petty theft kind of stuff.
Well, that depends. Does the Honda Civic have VTEC?
All of them have VTEC, dude.
Yeah. Okay, then it's worth stealing.
I mean, the Type R is worth stealing. The Type R is worth a joyride.
A joyride at
I don't know if I'm doing a joyride in a Honda Fit EXL.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I think that is it for today. Unless anyone had any alibis, as I like to call them. But
no takebacks.
No takebacks. Okay, cool. So anyways, thanks everybody for listening to us rant about all the fun stuff today and the fact that we all wish we were 16 again. I'm not sure if that's true. And yeah, we will see you guys next week for some more exciting news. So later, guys.
Bye.